And that's one of the things that's great about the NFL. Whenever you think you have it figured out,
Yes.
you are reminded that you don't. And to the extent the Cowboys thought they had it figured out, I mean, my God, what an embarrassment that was yesterday. Happy 82nd birthday, Jerry. As you said, at one point during the game, they're going to give up half as many points as his age.
Right.
It looked like they were trying to give up as many
82.
points as his age. Let's go for 82.
Right.
It's just been, and it's at home this year. They went 2 years without losing a regular season home game.
Yeah.
Something happened when they lost badly to the Packers in the wild card round last year. Super wild card round. Sorry, got to get it right. They fell behind there, and it was a debacle. They've been down 21-6 to the Saints, 28-6 to the Ravens, 27-6 to the Lions.
Jeez.
You don't even have like a pant leg in, and the other team is off to the races. It's horrible. Horrible.
It is. I don't disagree with you. Again, the Cowboys, I give them I give them a lot of credit last week. They play hard against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but maybe these are teams, again, Pittsburgh, Dallas, it's like exactly how good they are, I don't know. The week before that, they played the Giants. Sure, they played hard, but we know the Giants aren't anything special either. So I think the thing you look at in this game yesterday is just they're not anywhere close to the conversation for cream of the crop, upper echelon type of football team. That squashes that yesterday.
Well, you land a punch early with them and they're done. That's what it feels like.
Well, it feels like two things. Like the defense is not super talented, and then the offense is just about two people. It's Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And if they're not on fire and it's not connecting early, you kind of feel like, oh, it's one of those days for Dallas. What's going to happen here? Who's going to supply some offense? And, Detroit was obviously highly motivated by last year. I think maybe some of the talk that, that game should have gone another way. And, of course, the Dan Skipper eligible receiver and all that. So I feel like they came in kind of trying to prove a point in this game as well. But, yeah, when Dak Prescott threw that interception in the end zone to Brian Branch in the first quarter, right, that kind of seemed like the start of the end. And just the avalanche began, and Detroit did whatever they wanted on both sides of the football.
The Lions proved a point over and over and over again, and they did not let up. It was to the point where I thought, why are you doing hook and ladder to alignment? Save that for another game. Like, why are you showing that now?
They want to open the vault. They probably figured, hey, it's a good time to practice it, make other teams worry about it, right? There is that aspect of, like, let's show them everything and make everybody prepare for everything every week so they can't be great at preparing at certain things. But, I mean, you're saying it, right,
There's
Mike?
a fine line between that and showing off. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with showing off. I'm just trying to understand what it is, what the motivation is.
I get you there, too. I get you. But, yeah, obviously they're feeling their mojo. They were running the football down the throats of the Dallas Cowboys. And then, like we talked about last night on Football Night in America, when they start to run the ball in Detroit, Ben Johnson and Jared Goff, their play-action pass game, it's second to none. They're aggressive as hell, and we know they got some guys that can beat you. And then this guy right here, he has added a different dynamic to their offense that they did not have last year or that last half of 2 years ago. Jameson Williams is a true weapon, and they unleashed all their weapons yesterday and their physicality and all of that.
Happy birthday, Jerry. Sorry your party's so lame.
Wow. I bet you his party was still pretty cool.
Well,
I bet you it was still pretty cool.
I don't know. How happy would you be
getting
your ass kicked like that? And my good friend Mike Zimmer is not really holding up well as defensive coordinator.
Well, not yesterday. No, I mean, certainly some of that is you can blame him and everything else there. But I think you also got to – this is one where you got to look at it and got to go, man, the Jimmies and the Joes weren't up to the test either, right? I mean, I don't know what X's and O's were going to help their D tackles get in the way and just, open up holes that were gigantic and some of the coverage down the field. That's where I think Dallas, again, they're reliant on stars and just a very few players on their football team. I don't know if there's great depth and great talent across the board as we expected, and that's why we questioned how good they were going to be in their all-in type of thing in the offseason and all of that.
And somebody was trying to give me a hard time last night on Elon Musk's hellscape, previously known as Twitter. You're the one that said pay those guys. I didn't say that. I said pay them at a time when you would have money left over to pay other guys. That's the problem.
Right.
When you drag your feet with CeeDee Lamb, when you drag your feet with Dak Prescott, and you don't have cash or cap space, you don't have the ability to go all in. So we talked about this in August. They were treating the months the weeks, the days prior to the start of the regular season as the start of free agency, and they're adding defensive tackles. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, they're grabbing anybody available because they know they're screwed. The Derrick Henry, everybody whiffed on Derrick Henry. But he wanted to play for the Cowboys.
Yes,
and I know he has since said, he told me last week, I'm supposed to be in Baltimore. I want to be in Baltimore. And it's easy to say that when you're with Baltimore and they're kicking ass and taking names. But he wanted the Cowboys to call, and they didn't. They can't afford him. They just got it wrong. A lot of people got it wrong. But the Cowboys got it wrong in more ways than one. They don't have a running game. They're a one-dimensional offense.
That's exactly
Their defense isn't built to come from behind.
No.
They're built to play from ahead.
They
just have to get the lead.
Right. And they're, I don't know. They'll get the lead against the middle class of football, the lower class of football, but I think we clearly saw yesterday, they're not in that top tier of a football team. They were totally outclassed in every way by the Detroit Lions, and it does come down to that. And then there's no Micah Parsons and no DeMarcus Lawrence and anybody on the back end or on the defensive side of the Dallas Cowboys to make a play to kind of get them out of a jam. It is a little bit like, hey, Dak, can you make a big throw? Or, CD, can you catch a ball and make a play happen for us? That's what we're kind of relying on here. But, unable to win the line of scrimmage really on either side of the football. And then, Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, the run game, their offense was it was doing whatever it wanted, whenever it wanted.
And Micah Parsons has that high ankle sprain. I'm not putting a toenail on a blade of grass if I'm Micah Parsons, if I'm anything less than 100%. I'm not going to come back because, number one, I don't have my contract. And we've been proponents of don't play. Now that you're injured, don't play. And why come back to this crap show that the Cowboys currently are? Can they make the playoffs?
It's debatable. I mean, as I would look at them right now, I would say no. I would not. Now, I know that I'm looking at the standings right now. They're 10th, and I think that's about what they are, right? And 8th and 9th is Green Bay. Green Bay, I think, is extremely talented in a different class than the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles, talent-wise, are also in a different class. They have some other things going on, and we'll talk about them later. But no, I don't look at Dallas making the playoffs. I don't expect it. Again, I think when you take a look at the NFC North, and we know the NFC South's got two teams that are playoff caliber, and certainly that. And then you still got the 49ers in the West. I don't see Dallas squeezing into this one.
Make it matters worse for the Cowboys. They go into their bye week now. So they get to think about this one.
And then got to deal with the 49ers.
They're at the 49ers on NBC and Peacock coming up on the 27th of October. They're at the Falcons, which isn't going to be easy.
No.
Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins reunion game. Then the Eagles come to town, and who knows what you're going to get with the Eagles. They have the Texans on a Monday night, November 18th.
I was saying on my pod last night, and then the Commanders after that, right?
Yes.
They could lose the next 5. They really could. I mean, they're certainly not good enough for me to sit here and go, oh, well, they'll go 3-2 in that stretch or anything like that. I don't know where it goes. Definitely not.
Well, what happens when the wheels come off, too? That's the thing.
That's going to be the big thing.
It's easy to keep winning when you're winning. But when all of a sudden you're reminded you're not very good, are you going to dig deep, or are things just going to fall apart?
Well, yesterday, it looked like they didn't dig deep yesterday. I'll say that. I don't want to say they quit or anything like that, but they were deflated, I would say, somewhere between halfway through the third quarter, where I wrote in my notes, the game was 20-3 in the second quarter, and I said, feels like Dallas is barely hanging on here, like it's about to be a blowout. And then midway through the third quarter, it was a blowout, and you felt like, the wind was out of their sails, and they weren't going to compete at the same level, their intensity at the early on in the football game.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.